What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another transfer deadline day special. We haven't signed anyone, and it don't really look like we're going to sign anyone, but we're still here. We're trying anyway. Special guest in the building today, Fran in the building. How are you, bruv?
I'm all right. Welcome. I'm glad that I'm here, mate. Glad that I'm here. Let's get into it, mate. Let's see what we can get out of this, eh?
Let's get into it. Break it down. Don't forget as well, Fran's channel is in the title below, so you just got to click on his name, take you straight to his channel, subscribe, get straight right back. Let's get him up to 4, 5, 10K, whatever. So big up to Fran for coming on. Before I get into the video, just a quick sponsor for today, people. There you go. You might have seen it in the earlier video. Spitch is a brand new football app on behalf of OneFootball. You do have to be 18 and in the UK to do it. It's free to play. You can win up to £70,000 worth of prizes each week. So I'll be in it myself trying to win. And all the latest stats info and all that link is in the description below. Right. There we go. Fran, the breaking news. Like, I thought I was done. I said to Kevin Campbell earlier, my lawyer days are over. Aubameyang's leaving. Then as we're coming on the stream, Aubameyang to Barca looks as if it's broken down. David Ornstein, 5 minutes ago, says, Barcelona and Arsenal talks for Aubameyang have broken down over the salary. The 32-year-old is returning to London from what's said to have been a family trip to the Spanish city. Unless Barcelona find major money, it's off. Give me your reaction to that.
Well, it's one of those, obviously, odd and wingy settings. You know what it's like. You know what it's like. Now, a lot of the time, people will say, why have they done that? Now, agents would say, be in that city, because if paperwork, sometimes deal will fall through from late paperwork. So obviously, get yourself in the city. We'll see what we can do. If it works, brilliant. You're already in the city. We can get the paperwork done. If not, you got to get yourself back. A lot of the time, when they do that, it very rarely gets done. They have to come back home, which is a bit of a nightmare, really. But you can understand why he's done it. Now, I think it's something to do with maybe La Liga. I seen something earlier. Someone was on about they have different rules, don't they, with their wages? We know what happened with Messi, etc. And I think I don't know what's happening with Dembele, whether he's going to PSG. Has that been confirmed? I'm not sure.
No, not yet.
But clearly, obviously, Arsenal will probably going to pay half the wages or a lot of it to get him out. But it looks like something's broken down with the agreement probably between the two clubs when it comes to the wages.
Is it embarrassing? Because the man was turning up in Barcelona airport, smiling, he's signing, and now they're saying he's on a flight back to London. He'll have his tail between his legs a little bit, won't he?
Well, he must be fuming. Well, look, we're still talking about Aubameyang now. How long ago is that? Aubameyang will be the new one.
Aubameyang.
So from him, he clearly don't want to be here.
Yeah.
The hierarchy clearly don't want him here. He's 32, and I can understand why the club are doing it. But on the flip side, we ain't got no one who can score a goal. He is our best striker. I seen a stat today that his winning goals have created more winning points than any other forward in the Premier League over his reign that he's been here. So it tells you that he is elite when he's on form. It's not work with Arteta. You can understand why both parties want to, part ways. Yeah. But it's complicated. As you know, transfer deadline day and transfers are complicated. And normally it's a domino effect, and seems that there's obviously a hiccup here. It still could go ahead. However, you never know. It doesn't look good.
Let me slow down the chat. Let's go into Edu mode. Fabrizio Romano has just said, apparently on his stream, that Arsenal will not be signing Isak, or Isak, however you pronounce it. He said he's spoken to someone in Arsenal. They've got no intention of activating the release clause. Now, if Aubameyang stays or not, I mean, I'm kind of smiling a little bit inside. I can't lie. It's banter to be. But they shouldn't get away with this, should they? Because this window has been an absolute shambles for Arsenal.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? People were saying, Fran, why can't they build bridges? And I was saying, you've got to look at it from the human psychology side. Like, they don't really get on. They don't like each other. So even if it's a mutual agreement, they were, just try and get your head down. You're never going to get Aubameyang. You're never going to get the older Aubameyang. We've not seen him for a while now. And we're scrambling for a goal scorer. So it's embarrassing, in my point of view, on all fronts. It's embarrassing. But you can't afford to, if Aubameyang was to go, you can't afford to just have Eddie and Lacazette who are going to be leaving. So they're not going to be full 100 in for it for the rest of the season, probably. And then if he does stay, he's just going to be around the dressing room. So you've got a big problem. Either way, you've got a big problem with what's going on with Aubameyang and Arteta. From our point of view, we need someone who can score a goal. Or we're done. We're done. If no one can score a goal. So it's interesting to see what happens. If he doesn't go, then I don't know what the dressing room is going to be like. We'll see. We will see. But it's for me, it's embarrassing what's happening. I honestly thought come end of November, beginning of December, I said, listen, let's judge our club over January. Things are going to work against us. But that's the time now to go and throw a few, another 150 and let everyone know that we mean business. I think they drop us a little bit, they tickle us, and then we get back to square one. And then they'll do it again in the summer, and then we'll get back to square one. And I don't know whether it's deliberate or it's just the mindset of the club are going on this very slow journey with no expectations. And if something happens, great. But if not, well, we never told you this was going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, and the fact they're now saying, oh, he was on holiday in Barcelona with family. Like, come on, man.
Honestly, they think people are stupid, honestly. Man went on holiday for 18 hours, came back.
Yeah. That's what, you know what? I feel like just going on a tour of the new camp. You know what I mean? I'm scrolling social media as we're still on. There is one source saying that the hospital are saying that his medical is still going ahead as planned, and they don't think he has left Spain. But the Athletic are saying he's on a flight back to England already. So you're going to hear all kinds of madness anyway.
You're going to hear all sorts. Soon we're going to see Aubameyang license plate driving around Barca, and everyone will say it's time for Barca. Do you know what I mean?
We've just seen a gold Lamborghini outside the new camp. We've typed in his number plate.
You know what I mean? Jokes.
Hey, big up my boy Hakeem. He said, no one wants to sign for Arteta. How's everyone rejecting us? Do you think it's a case of, are players rejecting Arsenal, or are we not? I look at Bruno Guimaraes. For me, he ticks every box for Arsenal. 24, Brazilian international, physical, can play, decent price, said he wanted to play in the Prem. It's a no-brainer. Are Arsenal not going for them, or are they rejecting us?
I think the Bruno one's a weird one. It's like we've been after him for a while. We know he's very, very good. He's got some very, very good assets. Defensively, at times, people would question him, but you're not bringing him in for that, really. You're bringing him for what he can do on the ball, etc. Now, listen, Newcastle could have thrown him the contract of a lifetime. The contract of a lifetime, which we, as much as we spend a lot of money, we may not have been able to compete with that, or we may not have wanted to. Now, what's interesting is the Vlahovic one, it looked like we were going all out to try and get this player. And from day one, you kind of knew he wasn't really in his heart to come to it. He wanted to stay in Italy, he wanted to go Juve, etc. Now, these other ones, we don't know because we're not within the system, in the club, this Arta one and these others weren't really sanctioned from the hierarchy. Now, are they starting to lose trust because they've said, well, we gave you 150 and at the minute it's a little bit shambolic, so we're not giving you anything more unless it's a superstar like Vlahovic or a recent superstar, whatever the media want to call it.
Yeah.
Do they not trust him with other players? Or is it the fact that these players just say, listen, we don't really want to be a part of this. It don't look good from the outside. Yeah. Now I'm saying, if you're in the French league, if you know Guendouzi, if you know Saliba, if you know David Luiz, if you know any of these players, the first person you're going to phone is an Arsenal player who's been there or is there and say, what's it like? What's he like?
Yeah.
And if they don't got anything good to say about him, they're all thinking, I'm not sure. And the players don't care about history. Ben White don't even know who Vieira is. Players don't care about what Henry did or what Bergkamp did. They want to know what's best for their career in a way, how much money can they earn? Let's be honest. And is that the right move to make sure that their family are looked after for decades? That's what all the things that go through their head. So you got to think if Vlahovic comes to Arsenal, he's thinking, man, this could ruin me.
Yeah.
This could ruin me. And these are the things that players are looking that players look at when they want to sign for football clubs. Sometimes fans don't get it because they're like, well, we have an emotional attachment to the football club, so we just sign. But it's different for them. They don't have no attachment. They're just thinking about what's best for them, what system is good for them. Is Arteta the right man? Is the club going in the right direction? Do I want to be a part of a youth project? No. I want to be winning things. I want to be in Champions League. I don't want to be a part of this youth project. That's what I would be saying, you know?
Yeah, spot on. Beresford Production says, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think that'll be his name from now on.
That's his name now, mate.
Shooter Gang, big up to you, bro. Said Amazon laughing all the way to the bank. That's the only elite thing that's going to come out of Arsenal this year is the documentary.
Major figures.
Andy Arsenal, this is a clown show. Arteta is the manager, not the coach. He wanted the big job, so him and Edu deserve equal blame for the shambles of a window. I said this earlier to Kev. I said he was saying something about Edu, and I said, listen, Edu deserves the blame, but to me, and you know because you've done agents work and stuff, does a technical director, he will go for the players that the manager asks him to go for, right? So surely Arteta deserves some of the blame as well, because maybe you're asking him for unrealistic targets.
Well, it depends on the relationship and how the club works. You've seen in the past some clubs where the football director picks the players and the manager has no say. I don't believe that's the case here. I think maybe they look, they look tight. They look like they sit down and they try and, identify that players they want. And maybe Edu comes with some options, and then Arteta says, yeah, you know what, that could work. And then Arteta comes with some options. But listen, they're both in this together. I don't, in my opinion, they're both in this together because the players that have been allowed to leave and that's put us in this situation. By the way, we are now weaker than we were when we was kind of in fourth and everyone else was playing bad.
Yeah.
The decisions that have been made for me, these are through the manager. These are managers' decisions. When you look at the way that they've been done, some people would say the hierarchy. Now, they may be. We don't know that for sure. But from my experience, normally, if the manager don't want a player around, the player's gone. Simple as that, regardless whether the owner wants him to play or not. Now, we have been in situations where the owner knocks on the manager's door and says, you can't score a goal. I'm paying him 300 grand a week. He needs to be in this team. Yeah, like a Barry Fry or a Neil Warnock. But I don't think that's going to happen at Arsenal.
No.
So, I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? I don't understand what is going on with Arsenal Football Club with regards to the players that. Listen, the players that have gone out, we wanted them out. Let's not shy away from that. We was calling for these types of mediocre players to get out of the club. Maybe not Aubameyang, because that's a different story. However, situations have changed certain things. But you don't expect for them to go and you have no other options. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And I think that's the problem with Arsenal fans. And you're going to get Arteta fans who will blame everyone else because they're very biased and they don't want to see anything different. Yeah. They're not looking at the bigger picture. Or maybe they are looking at the bigger picture and they really think that this is going to work. I just don't think it's going to work. Yeah.
Alfred, big up to you, said, if you're a player, are you going to a coach who freezes out big names like Ozil and Aubameyang? London is an attraction, but not if you're walking on eggshells. I mean, like you said, when you sign for a manager, ultimately you're putting your career in his hands for the amount of time you're there. If I'm looking at Arteta, I'm saying, that they're not really progressing that quickly. He's had big issues with the big characters. And like you said, only young players who are probably trying to find their way in the game are going to come to us. Because let's be honest, all the players we signed in the summer were relatively easy transfers. Tommy Asu's at Bologna, Ramsdale's in the Championship. Odegaard, they took his squad number off him, Our top players now looking at Arsenal and going, okay, Arsenal were a big club, but that project does not appeal to me right now.
I would thought so. From my point of view, that's what I would be thinking if I'm, say, a bigger player or an established pro. Now you think you make a good point. The players that we signed and made the signings, they're very easy signings. Odegaard loved it because he came on loan. He's going to play every week. Ben White, third choice at Brighton. He's like 50 million Arsenal. I'm going there tonight. I'm camping outside the stadium. That's an easy deal.
Easy,
and then the other kids are like, oh, Arsenal, this is great. Arteta loves me and all that. Yeah. I don't see no one in there with a bit about them. I don't see no top pros in there. Maybe they don't want to go down that route. But the problem is, if you don't want to go down that route, you're going to find it very hard to attract a Vlahovic. You're going to find it very hard to attract, a Gramirez. You're going to find it hard to attract these players. Yeah, that's the problem long term for me. Now, if this young group of players, and everyone says, well, in 3 years they're going to be there. In 3 years, if they don't do anything, Saka's gone. In 3 years, if they don't do anything, people will be knocking on ESR's door, Martinelli's door. So something's got to happen quick, because those players, they get bored of losing, or they get bored of not being in the Champions League. Because when you're not in the Champions League, you're not even classed as a good footballer these days, because it's all social media.
It is.
And these players want to be at the top of their game. So their agent will be in their ear. Say, listen, give it a couple more years, and we've got whoever on the want to take you. Your head's turned no matter where you go, and you're going to want to go. So big players want to go straight in where success is already happening. The same as big managers. You're not bothered about project, because your career might last 10, 12 years. Project might take 5 years off your career messing around. They don't want to do that. So even people will say, well, Bruno Guimaraes with Newcastle, that's not a youth thing. They're saying, listen, we want to try and win the Premier in 3 seasons. We're going to throw everything at it. Do you want to get in early doors? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. I do get it. Ammo said Edu is not good at negotiating deals and playing hardball. Put me in a room with him, I could negotiate his house. No, man. Nab said Saliba, Ozil, Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles, Pepe, now Aubameyang. How many players is Arteta going to ruin? This is a pattern. Instead, we play Xhaka. And I think people will always beat him with this Xhaka. It's all right saying non-negotiables, but it looks like double standards with certain players.
Listen, if he gets on with Xhaka and that's his boy, then subconsciously he's always going to make sure he's all right. That's just how the world works.
Yeah.
But the problem is with the other players, people will always, what you're going to have? You're going to have the Arteta fans and say, well, these players were bad attitude, or whatever the media said, whatever the spinning wheel did. And then you're going to have other people say, yeah, but the fact of the matter is they are better. Maybe not all of them, but a couple of them are better than what we already have. But did they need to go out? I think the reason that these players need to go out and he needs to get kindergarten in is so he can control the whole thing that's going on and not be questioned. And at the moment, he's not being questioned.
Yeah, no, you're right. Wade said, Arsenal treat all their best players with contempt and disrespect. They all leave on terrible terms. This is why Arsenal can't sign big names anymore. I mean, do you think, are Arsenal viewed different now? I mean, we're historically a giant. We know we are, worldwide, huge fan base, this, that, the other. But are we turning into a history channel where, Vlahovic is 21. Now, he never would have seen Omri and them guys play as a kid. He saw 10 years ago when we had Bentner, Shamak. You know what I mean? So to this new generation now, are Arsenal even that giant that we saw them as when we were kids?
Well, I don't think they are. You go around now. If I go in the ends, I see the odd Arsenal shirt. I see Man City shirts. I see this. That's just the way it is now. The problem that we have is you have different generation of fans, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, equally, on the flip side, you're going to have different generation of players.
Yeah.
So if the fans don't have expectations, these say a section of fans don't really have expectations, they've never really seen success, then you've got to understand players are going to think the same way. A player does not look at Arsenal now as they would have 10, 15 years ago. That is the reality. That's why we can't get top established players. We may be able to get young players who then end up being great, but I don't think and I think it's even going to be even worse now, because we cannot compete with money bags. The Kroenkes have basically said us we can't compete with money bags. So we're trying a different route, the Leicester route or whatever it may be. However, We're not a championship team and trying to find gems. We're an established top Premier League team. So we're kind of doing it the wrong way around, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's like when we, as you know, when I do the radio, a lot of people will start hammering teams in the championship. And I say, well, it's easier from the outside. We don't know the mechanics, who's doing what from the inside, and how hard it is financially for it to be a sustainable model. But for me, if you're already there and you've already got the foundations, would it just be right to go out and get £200 million players to add what you already had, rather than scrapping it all again? But we don't know why they've started all again. I'd be interested to know why they've done it. Why have you gone this way? That's the question that I would like to ask the Cronkays or Edu. Why have you gone this way? Who put this plan together? You know?
And I agree with you, because I think this is where a lot of my frustration comes from. I look at Arsenal and I think, you've got all the foundations, everything what Newcastle are going to spend the next decade building. We've already got that. We got a great training ground, great stadium, great history, massive fan base. All we need is a very, very good team and a top quality manager, maybe technical director. So why go Project Youth? Project Youth, I would expect Crystal Palace, Southampton, someone like that. Oh, I'm looking for a gem. How is Project Youth ever going to overcome what Manchester City have got with Pep or Klopp? You're never going to overtake them with that. So like you said, I don't understand the route and what they're trying to achieve with that.
Yeah, I can only think they're trying to go that way to become a sustainable club financially. Buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. But football is like no other industry, is it? It's very unpredictable. You don't know about players. And to build, you've seen it. You've seen how many clubs have come in with big money and they have a go for 2-3 seasons, especially in like League Two, League One, Championship. And then they realize how hard it is and it goes to pot. I honestly think the only way this happens is if you're going to go down this route for 10 years, 6 years, you know, kind of long time. Yeah. One, can the club afford to do that? Two, is the Kroenke going to be around that long to do that? We don't know. And I don't understand. You've gone, it's not even 1-2 step backs or whatever you say. It's like 10 steps back to restart all over again. It's confusing. And my frustration comes from that. And maybe that is then, you know, aimed towards Arteta, who is a part of this group. And his head, he's the head of the snake at the moment. He is the one who's going to, everything relies on him because he's a manager. But there's more than just him in this crazy idea that they've got going on. I think it's a crazy idea.
No, I agree, Fran. I agree. Andy said, I'm trying to make sense of this madness. Surely all these players leaving is opening room for at least one player. That makes sense, right? Help me. I mean, sense and Arsenal don't seem to go hand in hand. Nab said, the way Arsenal treats our past and current players is a red flag. Who wants to sign for Arsenal when they know they'll get treated like Aubameyang? And like you said, players will look at that. Z said Dembele really rejected Arsenal. I mean, there are reports maybe that we asked the question and he wasn't interested, but I'm not surprised. Wade said, look at Lampard getting in 2 players, Donny van der Beek and Dele Alli, who played in Champions League semi-finals because his name holds weight. Arteta has the reverse effect. Strong
Dele Alli going Everton.
Dele Alli's going Everton. Yeah, he's having a medical. And I Am King said, big up to you, bro. I've been an Arsenal fan since 98. I've never felt so disconnected to my team. I can't even enjoy the games anymore. I have to rely on you for entertainment. I feel disrespected when Coney speaks. And you know what? A lot of fans make them type of comments, Fran. They'll be like, I've supported Arsenal for years. I've never felt so disconnected. The owner, the way the club is acting. It's like, at what point do they wake up and think we have to change something? Or is it never going to change under this ownership?
Well, that's the question. That's the $1 million question, isn't it? The $1 million question is, what's the plan here? Like, we are literally left in limbo. If the plan is Project Youth, okay, then that's fine. But what's the aim? You know, what's the aim? Is you say there's no target this year, and surely when you're in a position that we're not on this 10-game run, and we knew things were going to happen, and you knew AFCON was coming, and you knew maybe the virus, etc., was going to cause us problems, and you need depth. So if we can get rid of the deadwood, which we've been doing over the last 6 months, whatever it may be, 12 months. If we can get rid of the deadwood, fair enough. But we have to make sure that our house is in order before we allow that to happen. We can't do no one no favors. We can't feel sorry for players. We can't be nice to them. We've got a football club to run. We need to win games. So I'm sorry, Maitland-Niles. As much as you may not be in my squad at the moment and you may not be my type of player, you can't go yet because I'm going to leave myself short.
I said the same thing to Kev, Fran, but he was saying no. He said the loan move might disappear, but I said you got to look after your own.
It might do. It might do, and you might not get a fee, but that's not helping you if you're just allowing players to go left, right. We wanted them out. I'm not going to turn and say I don't think they're good enough, but I've never been in a situation. I've been in situations where moves have fell through for me because we were too thin and they couldn't get a replacement in. I remember deadline day, leave your phone. My phone was on deadline day. My phone's on and phone's on. Message after message. All of a sudden, it's off. They can't get someone from a Blackburn. They can't get him on loan from Charlton. So you're staying. And you're like, what? Sure. So I'm surprised that it's gone that way. I mean, and if Aubameyang does go and we don't bring no one in, I understand that move and you can't really keep him around because that's different. But Maitland-Niles is not under 300 grand a week. You can keep those players around because they're going to go on a free anyway. You've lost money anyway because you're not doing business with them. So there's so many ways to go about it. No one's actually right or no one's actually wrong. It's just confusing. It's just really, really confusing.
I mean, the funny thing is we've rejected move after move for Ainsley. And the time we actually needed him, we said, all right, go now then. Like, it just didn't make no sense. But Alfred said, Alex Ferguson, you cannot win with just kids. Arteta's arrogance. Hold my beer. What kind of beer do you want, mate? I mean, that Ferguson one was a bit of a one-off, I think. But just a little couple of bits anyway. So from Diario Sport in Spain, they're now saying Barcelona are looking for a last-minute low-cost striker. They have put the majority of their money this month into Adama Traore and Ferran Torres. The Aubameyang option was too complicated by his high wage, and the deal is off. That's the story coming out of Spain. So, like you said, it's very difficult once you have that breakdown with your manager. But football is a business at the end of the day. Can Aubameyang get back into this team? Because if he's at Arsenal by 11 o'clock tonight, does Arteta leave him out for the next 4 months and not play him? Surely he's going to be under too much pressure because we know Lacazette and Nketiah are not going to get the goals.
The problem you've got there is even if he wants to leave him out for that long, there's going to be too many questions. He's purely showing like, this is me. I'm not doing what anyone wants me to do. I'm going to stick by my guns and whatever will be, will be. So I think he has to get him back. He has to get back in the squad. He'll be named back in the squad if he's still there. The problem is you're not going to get anything from Aubameyang. I could be wrong. He could come in, he could do what Harry Kane did, and he could be the model professional, and he could be, get his head down and really show everyone what he's about. He could do. He doesn't come across as that type of character. He sulks a lot, he's that kind of person, etc., which we've all been there. But he could prove us wrong. However, the atmosphere, if he don't play, he's going to be toxic. So somehow they need to get, if he is still around, they need to get him back into this team. Even if it's just for 4 months, 3 months left, 4 months left, whatever the games. Then they say, listen, we'll sit down the table. We'll allow you to go. We won't block anything. We won't ask for a crazy fee because of your age, etc. Just staying around, keep your head down for a couple of months, help the team out. You've done well here. You're a little bit of a legend, and see how we take. That's the kind of talk that I think you need with him. Yeah. But again, we have no idea what happened. We have no idea what happened.
And that's the problem, innit? I think the fans needed that clarity. Adverse Weather said, play Smith Rowe and Saka up front. I don't think those two are going to get the goals. David said, the club and hierarchy do not communicate with the fans at all. We get no answers. Transfers, Aubameyang, or our targets. Big up the East Midlands boys. Big up to David, man. And I think that was it there. Oh, no, one more. No, I've read that one. Yeah, so just, I mean...
Sorry, Kurt. Interesting comment from David there. I was at the game, the Peterborough game the other day against Sheffield United, And after I'm in the bar quickly, and I'm speaking to someone who used to work there when I played for there, 20 years ago, whatever. And they were saying they never have conversations with the players. They don't know anything about the players. The disconnect with modern day footballers and fans is as far as it's ever been. And that makes a good point. How fans don't actually feel a part of the football club anymore. And I think it's very easy for owners to do events and fan forums and get fans to really appreciate and get back involved. Now, I imagine they do little things, but there's just not enough clarity. And fans do find out last what's going on in football clubs.
But yeah, definitely.
And they always have done. But now it's just like, we don't care about what the fans have got to say. This is how we're going to go about business. Job done. We ain't got an answer to you. Didn't used to be like that. So I think the older fans, that's where they get frustrated. You know what I mean?
Isn't that crazy, though? Because you would have thought with social media, a much easier way to connect with fans, that there would be more of a connection with fans and players and the club. Do you think it comes down to the owner? I think if you've got the right owner, that connection seems to be easier to bridge.
I think so. I think if people always say about knowing the history or knowing the heritage or knowing about English football and that, I don't think you even need to know all that. I think you just need to be a proper people person and be like the fans. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. If you can connect and be like the everyday fan in certain ways and have them conversations and they warm to you, then they get a connection with the club. Yeah. Obviously, back in the day or whatever, players used to finish the game, they'd go in the bar and they'd get drunk with fans. You're not going to do that now. But no. Fans were part of the heart and the soul. Now, fans are literally just customers. And you'll always get customers. It's a day out. It's a spectacle. People will travel from around the world to go to the Emirates because it's a day out. A few Instagram posts, job done. It's completely different now. It's just the world that we live in. That's how it is. And social media now is that toxic. No one ever wants to connect. They just want to put pictures up or videos of people doing bad things. Yeah. So that's probably why players don't connect with fans, because they don't trust the fans and fans don't trust the players. And it's just a massive business now. And it's sad because the working man's game, the working man's sport is now become the billionaires' playground, the multi-millionaires' playground. So there's no connect. There's no connect.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that. Miles said, look at Pogba at United going on a free, but he's going to be picked. We need as many bodies as possible to compete. It's all business after all. Broad said Ivan Toney gets drunk with fans, but everyone's complaining.
We was talking about that, weren't we?
Yeah, not them kind of. Oh my day. Big up Broads, by the way, man. Buenos Aires, glad you're out of hospital as well, bro. He said, hate modern football. And sometimes you feel like, you think to yourself, am I just getting old? Because
it's getting old, man.
I remember my dad saying, this new football, man, when Beckham was dyeing his hair blonde, it was all these modern footballers, they're not like Maradona and that. And now I'm saying the same thing. I can't stand this modern. Are we just getting old, man?
Just getting old, man. It just changes. You speak to a 15-year-old now and he's like, Nah, that's class. That's class. Just getting old, man. Just getting old.
Just getting old, man. I see someone said Babs is in it. I can't see his thing. He said, what did he say? He said something like a bam. Here he is. And he's another Arteta lawyer, by the way. So don't let him.
Oh, he loves Arteta, Babs.
He loves Arteta. I'm convinced there's a poster in his bedroom. I'm telling you, he loves him. Aubameyang's lawyer came. I told you, listen, people, listen to me, man. I told you. Yeah, no Eddie Nketiah, no Lacazette. I told you we ain't getting no Vlahovic. Isaac ain't in London to sign for us, mate. He came to collect his Louis Vuitton
went shopping, bag. Mate. He went shopping.
The man came here shopping, and we were hunting him down like in that Taken film. Like, man,
I've never seen anything like it. Man was getting people's license plates.
You know what, Fran? He might have been here to sign for us, and he might have looked at social media and said, "Yo,
I can't sign for these brothers."
These are nowhere I live. No, I'm out of here, man. It's crazy, bro. VJ said, I just don't understand owners with no ambition. Surely running the club properly would mean you win more. Your fans are happy. This would automatically increase your revenue and profits. I mean, LA Rams reached the final last night.
Yeah.
Kroenke's lifting up trophies, giving speeches. We never hear this guy talk at Arsenal. We never see him at the ground. Arsenal is the side piece for him, innit? It's collateral for him to,
100%.
just to take out loans.
100%. He's obviously putting money in, but the question is it his money? Is it interest money? Is it money from other businesses? You know how the rich can work, the wealthy with the taxes, etc. It's definitely doing something for him which benefits his whole corporation and the wife's corporation.
Yeah.
Because, Mike Ashley, he's not, but he was doing something similar, wasn't it? It was all to do with taxes. The football club used to do things for Sports Direct and all these kind of things. And it's sad, but there ain't many sugar daddies out there with the billions and the billions like the Newcastle now and the Man Cities, etc. But he has enough money for us to be throwing money around. The guy's got billions. He's worth billions. There must be money and there must be investors, and he must have a lot of wealthy friends where we can compete. But if the ambition's not there to be one of the best in England, and it's just okay to be there, and the Adidas are doing their thing, and the fans keep filling the stadiums, why would they do that? It's got to come from the heart. They've got to want to do it. Man City came in with a purpose and a goal and an aim, and they was going to do that no matter what it did, no matter what it took. They were going to achieve that, and they've gone and achieved it. We've seen Man United. They've eased off. So Man United as a team have eased off. Their academy is nowhere near as good as it was 10, 15 years ago. They don't produce any players now, hardly. You got your Greenwoods, etc., but nothing like that they did back in the day. So without keep putting money in, eventually you're going to get caught up. In anything that you do, anything that you do, if you just put money in and leave it and whatever, you get caught up. And unfortunately, we've got caught up already. The scary thing is, and some people are saying they're not worried. I think they're lying if you're not worried. But that's my personal opinion, because I'm not a worrier. But I look at this club as they could be overtaken, and all of a sudden we could become a regular 8th or a regular 7th football club, because we've done 2 seasons now. So in theory, average, if you get another one, that's three level. 3 seasons.
That's your level then, isn't it?
That's your level, isn't it? That's your level.
Yeah. Yeah, big up Saeed in the building. I see him causing trouble as always, man. I knew he'd be, but big up Saeed doing big things with Rio Ferdinand and that, man. Love to see it. Big up South London. We got 3,000 people in the chat. Make sure you link down the likes. Let's get 1,500 likes. Subscribe as well. Fran's link is in the title, as he said there. Just click on that. Let's get his numbers up today as well. I mean, Fran, we've only got 2 games in February. Obviously, winter break, and we're out of the FA Cup. We're out of the Carabao Cup. If we don't do any business today, have we not done our job properly in terms of Edu and Arteta? Because I think we're in a situation that we didn't expect to be in, and we've got a chance of top 4. I'll be honest, I thought Man United was concrete top 4 this season with Ronaldo, Sancho, and Varane. I thought top 4 was a write-off. They've given us a chance, but even Tottenham have just announced Bentancur and Kulusevski, is it, from Juventus? They've signed 2. Everton are signing Van der Beek and Dele Alli. It seems like we're the only ones who are just standing still while everyone else moves.
Well, I mean, the 2 boys that Spurs have gone for, good players. Villa obviously wanted Bentancur. Now, obviously, Dele Alli, we know what he can do. Same as, if Jesse Lingard was going to go, we've seen what these players can do. Van der Beek. Some would say, why did Van der Beek go Everton instead of Palace? But maybe he believes that they're going to, start hitting the ground running. But the problem is everyone's done business. I think there's quite a lot of money being spent in this January. And even though Januaries are normally quiet, there's quite a lot going on. And for us, I just can't figure it out. I don't know whether they've... On paper, it looks shocking, right? On paper, it looks shocking, clueless clowns. And then on the flip side, we're like, well, we got rid of the dead wood. Are they planning for the summer? They're not going to panic buy, which tends to be quite a good thing.
Yeah.
Why didn't they get any deals done earlier? Were they serious? Or was part of the plan to just maybe get the 1 player in, maybe 2? It's not worked. So whatever, we'll just wait till the summer because there's no targets. So because because me and you, we're like, yo, this is a shambles. This is a losing mentality. You ain't gonna do nothing with this kind of mentality. That might be the philosophy that's in the football club now. Everybody's nicey nice, and well, if it happens, it happens, and Arteta's under no pressure, and it's all nice.
Yeah,
we've got rid of anyone who wants to beat people up. We've got rid of anyone who wants to grab people around the neck, which you need in football.
Of course.
So
you need that.
We got to look at it from a balanced argument. That from their point of view, they're probably not. They must be panicking a little bit because it could completely go the other way. Like,
yeah.
But from our point of view as fans, and we're like, what's going on? Everyone else is doing it. So I imagine it'd be interesting to see if anyone asks him these questions, which they normally don't. But it would be nice if someone asked him, what happened? Why did you not? He won't tell you the right answers anyway.
No,
but
no.
I'd love to put it on him and say, listen, I know what's going on here. You're trying to pull the wool over everyone's eyes. You're tickling each other's back. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
But and then we'll get to the summer, and then we'll see, well, what happens in the summer. The summer's bigger than this one when it comes to Arteta as a manager, I think, career-wise. Because that's the last one. That's the last kind of excuse that he's going to have. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they're talking about 2 more years, Fran. It might not be his local. You know what I mean?
I don't know what we'll do then. We will turn into proper old men.
I'll be on here drinking Ray and Nephews, moaning like an old man. I'll be playing dominoes on stream.
Dominoes, man. Flat cap.
Yeah. Alfred said, I'm convinced Amazon paid Spotify to come and hype up the fans to make the documentary more interesting. Paid Omri and Bergkamp to keep quiet. Big up to you, Alfred. I think that Arsenal had no intention of signing a striker in January. And then I think the Aubameyang situation crept up on them start of December. And I think they've scrambled to try and fix that issue. And they probably only thought Vlahovic, that's the only one I can see that might be available that we want. We chased him, didn't get him. And I don't think there was a plan B. Kev was saying this morning, Arsenal will have a plan A, B, and C. I don't think there was a B and C. I think it was Vlahovic to replace him, or we stick with what we've got. And I just think they've come up short, you know. And the midfielder, they should have got that at the start of January. They didn't. They've probably looked at it now and gone, do you know what? Xhaka's back, Partey's back, El Neni's out, AFCON next week. We'll have all our midfielders. And I'm not sure we'll sign anyone today.
I mean, you know, Kev knows he's been around. He's played at the top level. He knows his stuff. He knows how things work. But if they did have a plan A, plan B, and plan C, if they all went wrong, then you know, very rare does plan A, B, and C go wrong. If they all went wrong, then questions need to be asked about who's making these plans and who's negotiating these plans. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and you know what? It's like we even told them that January is going to throw some serious spanners in the works. You better be prepared. Basically, we're talking about it on streams in November and December. It's like their arrogance or something got in the way, and they thought, "Now we'll be all right.
Yeah,
we'll be all right. We'll get through. We'll get through." Now, when you've got targets or when you've got pressure, that don't happen.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't afford that to happen. Because he's got no pressure, it's okay.
Doesn't matter.
It's okay. Doesn't matter. So that's the problem we've got. Doesn't matter.
Do you know what? I just wanted to show you this that someone just sent me. Right. I mean, we know anyway, but just to bring it up, this was a statement that came out of Arsenal in the summer, and it said Mikel and Edu will lead all the disciplines in the men's first team. Analysis, scouting, medical, performance. Ultimately, they will be responsible for technical recommendations we make, the players we sign, sell, and the players we loan. So it's on those two. That, you know, it's not one or the other. It's those two. I call them the Chuckle Brothers. Some people call them Dumb and Dumber, but they have royally messed this transfer window up. We were top 4 in both cup competitions, you know, lining up transfers, and we're sitting here, 6 hours away before the window closes. Aubameyang's in the sky, flying back to London when he was signing for Barca this morning. We haven't signed anyone. You know, they're going to say Aubameyang's like a new signing. Arsene Wenger used to say it all the time, you know. Danny Welbeck, he's back from injuries, like a new signing. You know what we're gonna get.
We know what we're gonna get. We know what we're gonna get. Listen,
Crazy.
if you're an Arteta fan, it's the Kron case. If you're kind of looking at it from a financial point of view and the owners, it's Arteta. If it's not the Kron case, it's the players. People will flip flop with whatever they want, whoever they warm towards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in my opinion, an owner of a club has a responsibility to put the right personnel in the right positions. That's his job. Oversee where money's being spent. But you got to remember, Kroenke, he don't know his left foot from his right foot. He ain't going to know who's good and who's not, who's going to be good in the Prem. He ain't got no Scooby about football. So he's put people in positions that should have an idea. And that's where it comes down to Mikel and Edu. Simple as that. Those two are signing players on, in or out. Those two, well, so much the manager is probably picking the types of players, whether it comes to training or whatever it comes to attitude or whatever. And because of the lack of experience in that role, or man management, or leading a team, we have seen that the actions, they're not up to scratch. All you got to do is look at the situations, look at the business that's been done, and look at the things, whether you like Arteta, whether you like Edu, whether you don't, just look at the actions.
Yeah.
And it tells you everything you need to know, in my opinion.
Do you know what? I mean, I want to put a positive spin on it because there's 3,250. They must be looking at the screen right now like, yo, but it's the reality, people, because I'm literally baffled. Every player that we sold this window, I've been like, we're gonna get someone. You know, surely we'll get a striker, we'll get a centre mid, we'll grab someone on deadline day. And I just cannot believe the way we are running it. And you have to question, you know, if you own a company that's worth $2.5 billion, surely you don't get a technical director that is inexperienced, a manager that's never done it. You know, why would you put your business in the hands of those people? I just can't get my head around it.
Well, due diligence, innit? Clearly, the due diligence has not been done to the level that it should have, of that level of a company. Now, people always get things wrong. At big companies, you've seen it, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google, whatever. You've seen people in the positions, and in the end, it's like, they weren't right for that because they don't know until they've put them in that position.
Yeah.
The obvious one for me is obviously giving a manager who's never been a manager a job. I mean, that's the obvious one. Like, I can't believe anyone would do that, especially that level. I get it in League 2, in League 1. I don't get it in the Premier League with a club like Arsenal. And it's showing, it's proving. Like, people will argue that when we talk about this ego or man management, if you can't see that, then I would suggest educating yourself and figuring out how managing people and the psychology of managing sports and athletes works in the workplace. Because you could have done it 20 years ago. You know, if a manager grabbed Graham Souness or whatever and said, or slapped him and said, sort yourself out, he'd go out and smash someone. You can't do that now.
No, you can't.
So when Arteta is being very, very, this is my way and you're going to get disciplined, and don't get me wrong, rightly so, as players should get disciplined for the things that they've done. And then you we don't know the full relationship, but how it comes across, and you don't really back people and you hang people out to dry and all these things. For me, that's just bad man management. But what we forget is not only is he brand new, he's young.
Yeah.
He's younger than me as a football man, and he's never been a football manager before. And he's coached. He's been the middleman at Man City. I mean, come on, man. That's got to be the easiest job going. What do you tell De Bruyne to do?
Yeah, it's easy, isn't it? It's easy. Go and do some one-on-one coaching with elite footballers. You know, it's not difficult. He improved Raheem Sterling and Leroy Sané. Well, you know, That's not tough, really. They're 50 million apiece. You know what I mean? I love this one. Release your inner peace said Jermaine Defoe is apparently going to someone in League One. He's about 56, but I would still. I'm telling you, Defoe would score more than Eddie.
He would score more goals than Eddie and Nketiah, 100%.
And that's no joke.
I think he's going to Sunderland, didn't he?
He's going Sunderland.
Yeah.
Every super chat. Mr. Modo, big up to you for the kind donation. Said, not to sound like Edu and Arteta's lawyers, could it be that Arsenal is just tired of signing plan Bs and Cs? Wenger signed a lot of second and third options, which left us with a bang average squad on long-term contract. I do hear what you're saying. I'm not sure a lot of those plan A's will join us if they are big names. You know, Edu said in the summer we were filling the squad this year. Next year we were going to go for the magic. But can you get those players is the question. Let me just read a couple more, Fran, then I'll get back to you. Sorry. Christian said, we chase baddies that didn't have our number saved in their phones. Summer will be a dud if we finish 8th. Newcastle taking the P. Arteta submarine. Oh, man. Yeah, give me your number. Yeah, delete. Go on, do one.
Wrong number. That's a wrong number, wrong digit, man. And you try and phone it when you're still in the
They say 9 at the end, but it was a 7 or something. Just get one digit wrong, innit? Andy also said, right, gents, I'm off to bed. It's 12:50 a.m. in Australia. We are signing nobody. Keep Aubameyang and not play him. I can't even believe it. So disappointed. We allow ourselves to believe in it, don't we? That's the worst thing. And Jack said, big up to you both. Thank you for providing us with some comfort in these depressing times. Oh, man. I mean, listen, it's not the end of the world. There's bigger things in the world, obviously, but it's Arsenal. And, I mean, another report here. Sorry to dampen the mood even more. I'm really trying to find some good news. But Arsenal apparently had a £58 million bid rejected for Alexander Isak this morning. His release clause is £75 million. Edu tried to negotiate it lower, made an offer of 58 million. Sociedad made it clear, pay the release clause or no deal.
Wow.
I mean, when you get to this position and they expected Aubameyang to go, Vlahovic has gone elsewhere. If you rate Isak at 58 million, have you just got to take the hit and pay the release clause if you rate him that highly and just get him?
Well, if you do rate him that highly, well, if you can afford to go to those levels, and Kroenkes are going to allow you to say, listen, we've got that. It fits within what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And if you rate him that highly, then what does it matter what fans think? What does it matter? Because you're the manager, you rate him that highly. I mean, 70 million for a kid who's not done anything yet, I think is absolutely crazy.
It's mad, isn't it?
Because he would have to put Harry Kane figures on the board for him to be 110 million pound player. I don't think he's got that in his locker. So you're buying an asset with potential, but how much potential money-wise, because that's what you're buying for, has he got when you're paying 70 million? I mean, 70 million for a guy who's hardly scored, for me, is crazy. Listen, I've not seen a lot of him, and what I have seen of him, not YouTube clips, because I'm not falling for that. What I have seen of him when I was watching play, I see some raw talent. I see a little bit, but I don't see 70 million quid. No. That is for sure.
Game's gone mad, hasn't it, Fran? It really has. Half a good season, if you're a good age, you're getting a massive move somewhere. It's crazy.
But if they do rate him, then they should pay the money. If they do rate him.
Lubert said, Curtis, bro, mark my words, won't get top 4. We haven't signed anyone. United have great individuals. Spurs are strengthening. And Spurs have got an elite manager. It makes the difference. Sean says, big up from Dublin. Lads, never been more stressed in my life watching these clowns. Try to sort out our club. At least have a chance to get top 4. For me, I would say if we don't sign anybody today, top 4 is gone. I think it will fizzle out. You know, I just don't think... I think United's individual quality and Spurs having Conte, Kane hasn't even got going yet this season. You get him scoring, and even West Ham are above us.
Yeah, I think, like you say, I think unless you bring an elite centre forward in, and no one's going to allow an elite centre forward to leave, unless you're Arsenal and you want to get rid of your elite centre forward who can score goals. But we've got to do a lot to get top four. I don't think top four is doable, and more definitely not if we've got Lacazette and Nketiah. That's just not going to happen. But stranger things have happened. But I just can't see if someone was to say, right, be real, I just can't see. And then it's back to the drawing board again, to see if they do want to pay that money in the summer for Isak, if they want to try and get someone else, a Jonathan David, another centre forward, and then fill in the gaps. The centre midfielder, definitely, maybe two, and then fill in the gaps in other areas that you need for a depth squad, and then you go from there. But at the moment, it's not good as an Arsenal fan, and we've got a worse team now than we had in December, some would say, in a way.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Depth-wise.
Definitely a worse squad, yeah.
Squad-wise, yeah.
Snake Eyes, big up to you, bro. Fran and Big C, you said we'll finish 8th. I think I said 7th. You said 8th. There is no pressure on both of them. I don't blame them. I blame the board and the Cronkies. As a fan base, we need to get them out. No one will do it for us. And I agree. I agree. Like you said, there's no pressure on this manager. That's why they're offering him a new deal before he's done anything.
That's another stream. That I mean,
yeah. That'll take us 2 hours. Just you know what I mean? Interesting thing here, right? Dele Alli apparently is a free transfer with huge bonuses. Fabrizio Romano said it's a free transfer. They pay 12 million euros after he makes 20 appearances. With the bonuses over the 3 years, it could reach 30 million pounds, but depends on Dele and performance. So that's it's a permanent deal as well. Interesting deal, that, isn't it? I mean, they did actually compare Dele Alli to Frank Lampard when he first burst onto the scene. So him going and playing for Lampard, do you think that's a good move for Dele Alli?
He needs to play. We know, very, very good player. Come on, he's a good player. You know, I remember having a few arguments with people about Jesse Lingard. He's done, Fran. I don't take him. I said, watch what happens when he goes to West Ham. And he was the best player in the Premier League, arguably, at the time. Definitely attacking midfielder. Dele Alli's he's lost his way. He's still at the age where if he feels wanted, he turns it on. He can get back. Do not be surprised. Players don't lose it overnight unless they're at an age where things slow down. He's still at a good age. I believe he's with Pep's daughter, so he's probably north. He's probably that way. Don't know if that's still a thing. All of a sudden, he might feel wanted. Everton have got some good players. They play some good football at the time. Interesting to see whether it works for him, but would not be surprised if Dele Alli gets back to being Dele Alli and everyone's saying wow again, to be honest. Because he was very, very good when he was. You can't deny that. He was very, very good. But you just don't know how it's going to work out, do you?
No, you don't. That's it, innit? You know, and I think nowadays we have this, don't we? That you have a bad season, people write you off. You know, you have a good half a season, you're a superstar.
Well, look at Vlahovic, you know. I didn't even hear of him.
FIFA player, innit? That man, you get on FIFA and then all of a sudden, you know, 70, 80 million. Josh shot a big, he's about to say breaking news, Arsenal haven't signed anyone. You just got to laugh. Someone just said they'll probably release a new training kit tomorrow, you know?
Oh, mate, imagine, yeah.
Oh, my days. David said, the money is mad. I remember Zidane to Real for 50 million, world record. He lit the world on fire, World Cup winner. 50 million now gets you Ben White or Nathan Ake.
Wow.
It's gone crazy, hasn't it? You know, I was saying to Kev earlier, man, you would want to be a striker now, wouldn't you? Because you do something half decent that you can, the sky's the limit for you, isn't it now?
You ain't even got to be a good striker now.
Yeah.
You haven't even got to be a good striker now. Like, I was watching this thing the other day, history settings, as always. Pep was talking about R9, and he said the things he could do, I've never seen another centre forward since that day to this day do it. You imagine R9 now.
Oh, 500 million.
500 million, mate. 500 million. No one touching this guy. And the standard of, because the game has changed. Yeah. The game has changed. So you don't get forwards like that. But yeah, I know. History settings. Sorry, people. It's me and Kurt. We're getting old, man. We're getting on the history time.
Don't get me talking about R9 either. We'll be on here till the morning. Best striker ever, bro. Oh my God. I mean, just before we round up, Arsenal, I mean, if they don't sign anyone, which at the moment it looks like, what do you think is the best they can achieve? 1 game a week. Other teams will be in Europe, cup competitions, maybe it doesn't stretch our squad as much. What do you think the best they can achieve this season?
Listen, a lot of people will still say 4th. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say that. I think the best that they can do, if everyone's back fit and we're playing and we try and get back, I've got to say 7th. Honestly, I want to say 6th.
Yeah,
I'll say 6th. The best possible outcome for me, in my opinion, is 6th, and I think they'll be happy with that. I honestly think that they would be happy with that. Yeah,
we'll get a new deal off 6th.
100%. I think 100%. I think they'll be happy with that. So that's the best that they can do, in my opinion. The worst is 10th. Some people shouting 10th, and you laugh, boy, you laugh.
I know.
Some people saying 10th. I think, I said 8th, but I said 8th at the beginning of the season. Everyone thought I was crazy, but yeah. We'll see. We'll see. And you don't want to be right, by the way. I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong. Of course I do. But some people say 9th and 10th. I mean, imagine 10th.
Arsenal finishing them places there is mad.
It would be crazy. Absolutely crazy. And people will say, oh, you always get it as well. You say one bad thing and everyone thinks you're negative. It's just part of the conversation. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just,
you got to have that discussion.
You got to have that conversation. So listen, we finish 8th and 10th. We're mid-table team, mate. I've been saying it for a couple seasons. Mid-table team.
Trucker says there, we should do the right thing, let Aubameyang go. It would be criminal if he doesn't this season and we kept him. If Aubameyang is an Arsenal player by 11 o'clock tonight, what do you think happens and what would you like to see happen? So tell me what you think Arsenal will do and then what would you do?
Well, I think they need to. They'll be in a situation where they have to integrate him back in the team. They're going to have a sit down. They're going to have to put the differences together. So I think he'll be back in the team. Do I think he'll regularly start? No. And do I think you'd get many goals out of him? No. Because I think his attitude, his mindset will be even worse than before because we wasn't getting the best out of him before because of the way Arteta plays. Didn't click for him. Maybe he had personal problems. Maybe he's thinking about life after football, whatever it may be. I would like to see him play, and I would like to see us create chances for him because he's a goal scorer. But something tells me, just going off experience, they'll try and get him back involved. He'll be involved, but it'll be a half-hearted effort from both parties in a way.
When you look at it, that could actually be a more negative situation than him leaving, couldn't it? If you've got a player, your star name, and he doesn't like your manager, and you're not probably going to start him every week. You use him as a squad player. That could actually be worse, really.
Well, it's one of those. If you try and get him involved and you're not going to get the same player, but he's not going to ruffle any feathers and he's not a problem, then that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is he's like, I'm not having none of it. I don't care. You banish him out. You put him with the kids. He does what he wants. And he's out the way of kind of causing any toxicity in the squad. Yeah. But you've got this centre forward who is still the club's best centre forward, nowhere near the club. And I think that's the wrong way to go about it. But it's down to those two as individuals. I don't know what they're like. They both come across as they're the kind of type of people that would say, no, bun that, I'm not doing what you tell me to do. Yeah. And so it's hard because we don't know the personalities of these two, but they definitely don't get on. That's obvious for even when he was playing, that was quite obvious that they don't get on. Yeah. They could just switch on him and go hardcore and say, listen,
you're training with the kids all season.
You're going to be with the kids to the end of the season. We don't want nowhere near the first team. We'll happily pay you. That's what it is. Job done. They could do that. Clubs do that.
Yeah. No, they do. But that would create a drama and a soap opera. That's for sure, man.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll have to see. But Fran, absolute pleasure to have you on. We hadn't done a show
pleasure, mate.
And we didn't get the echo on the microphone, which is always a positive.
We've sorted it out, community, which is good.
3.5K in the chat. Make sure, click on that link, hyperlink, subscribe to Fran's channel, FFTV, get his numbers up, and make sure we like the video. Let's get 1,500 likes. Subscribe here as well. I'm probably going to be back about 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending what's happening. The window shuts at 11. I'll probably do the last hour. It doesn't look like we're going to do too much. Are you going back on? Let the people know if you're back on.
Yeah, I might do. I might go on, like you say, the last hour, maybe, 9:30, something like that. If something's happening, maybe go on for half an hour. If not, then, tuck ourselves in and get ready for February.
We don't play for about a week and a half.
The good thing is we've only got 2 games.
Yeah.
I think that's a blessing in disguise because it's going to give a lot of people to get back to fitness, to get their head around what's going on. It gives us time to maybe sort the Aubameyang situation out, and then we can kick on from there. But listen, some people think they've got something rolled up the sleeves, but you can't keep things quiet for this long. I can't see anything happening now. I really can't. But you never know. You never know.
Kev said on the stream earlier, Fran, that we would sign a striker today. He said, clip it. He said, clip it. I said, I thought
what kind of striker?
Yeah, we'll probably sign a 17-year-old to play for the under-23s.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
I think that maybe if Aubameyang would have signed, maybe they had something in the line, but that can't happen if Aubameyang don't go to Barca, maybe, and it's being kept quiet. I'm just not sure. Because it would be unbelievable if Aubameyang was to leave and we never brought no one in, because that is literally Lacazette and Nketiah for the rest of the season.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
And you're done then. A club like Arsenal Football, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Crazy. But you know what, people? You've just got to take it as it is, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? You've got to take it as it is. We can't change it. As frustrating as it is, we kind of got to laugh and kind of move on. Do you know what I mean?
It's true, man. I'm telling you.
As sad as it is. This is another one. Oh, by the way, I think Brennan Zeres has been released from hospital. I think he's better now, Kurt.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him.
Yeah, man. Big him up.
I can see that Jack Wilshere last minute one.
Oh, well, the thing is, they ain't got a rush to sign him because he's out of contract. So they could sign him next week. But the fact he's in Dubai wearing a squad number, and apparently they've got behind closed doors friendlies.
And he's playing. Hey, don't get me wrong. He's still better than some of the players that we've got.
Arteta might as well come out of retirement, just play centre mid.
Oh, man.
You might as well. Let me just finish this. Abdullah said, big up Big C and Fran. I told you about the current ownership of this club, but for me to blame the season ticket. Blame the season ticket holders. And I mean, listen, I don't like to do that, but listen, if the fan base,
it's tough.
Our fan base are very divided, Fran. Honestly, you see it at the ground. Arteta, it was Wenger in, Wenger out. Then it was Ozil. Then it was, Emery.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Do you think it's social media? A lot blame social media. What?
I don't get it. I don't see that as much at other clubs. Maybe because I don't go to their games, I don't feel it. But
I think people just want to be proven right all the time so much.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Whereas I just think, listen, we want the best for Arsenal Football Club. We're never going to agree. That's football. But surely we want the best. Can you not understand where I'm coming from? And I'm willing to try and understand where you're coming from. But surely we just want the best for the football club. But I get people really, really want to be proven right or wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a generational thing. I just don't know, mate. I really don't know. But it is, like, I've had 3 Twitter accounts. I've deleted every one. I've been on the verge of deleting this one because it drives me mad. But now I'm consistently just saying not interested when I go through Twitter all day.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. People
I don't want to see anything.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, Twitter is a platform. I say, don't be on it too much, man. That is a wild one. But anyway, people, you know what? I deleted a few Aubameyang green screens. Didn't think I'd need them. I'm gonna re-download them. Aubameyang is back, people. We'll see if he ends up playing for us or not. But big up to Fran. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure.
Make sure you go and subscribe to him. Get his numbers up. Me and him will be doing regular content as the season goes on. And don't forget, download Spitch, the app. It's in the description below. Brand new fantasy football app with OneFootball. I'll be on about 9:30, 10. Fran will be on as well. Go and check him out. Big up to you, Fran, for coming on. And I'll
big
see
shout, big love.
later.
Thanks, community. Appreciate it.
Take care. See everyone later.
See you later, man.